Alright, guys. Class of Insightful Learning, episode Y only. Yikes. Like I was going to do only Y and X at the same time, but that would still been its own thing. This is Y only this time. And this is going to be about something I have to address very quickly in 5 minutes if I'm doing this like this, which is materialism a net positive? So it's not only not a bad thing, only, or even mostly a bad thing, or even half a bad thing. Is it only a good thing to be net materialistic? Is it net positive? Let me describe two different net positive examples that may or may not be good enough for me to be full of, but let's see how far I go with this, just to say it's a case. Grits. The Quaker Oats grits. You can open the box of grits, and you notice that all the rice petals are inside the box directly. When you make grits, you notice that it has unique tasting flavor. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but it still tastes good. It's going to remain versatile for a very long time because it's so unique and interesting and oddly placed out that it can still be good. And then even if you get older over time, you can still mix it with other flavors and butters and salts and vinegars and all alike. It'll be unique all the same because that's staple food, so it helps you maintain energy, happiness, all overall. Grits doesn't have to only be good, but the grits Quaker Oats food grain is an example of why I think of it as that positive. Unlike even another food grain like an orange, where the orange, if you leave it out instead of throwing it away, it'll still ward off spiders. It's an example of positivity and one of my favorite versions of it. Oranges and tangerines and citrus fruits like it resemble a lot of good energy things, including the energy you get from nutritional value, as well as just looking at orange and believing in the positivity values of it. And orange especially is the inspiration of colors that we associate with other forms of positivity, with the ambition of red and the happiness of yellow. One more example, Wavasaur. The Wavasaur audio editing software. It's an alternative to Audacity. Audacity is also free, and there's nothing wrong with Audacity at first, especially when it gets updated. But Wavasaur does not take up more than even a few kilobytes or megabytes of space on your computer. It downloads instantly. When you use Wavasaur, you have the advantage of using certain VST alternatives that not even Audacity has. And even Wavasaur can help you, these things are not necessarily limited to Windows Movie Maker or Windows Movie Maker qualities. Because with Wavasaur, you can pair with any other video editor. It will still be compatible, and you can use Wavasaur to edit high quality WAVs, not just MP3s, MP4s. So Wavasaur is, again, one of my other examples, one of the last few ones I'll make in this video, about net positives. Do I mean that net positive can only be good? Not even in the literal sense, unfortunately, because by definition, net positive can only be good. And that's why I start to say things like net positive is rare. Because for things to only be good, you dismiss the duality of most things in life, equal parts positive, equal parts negative. What I'm saying is that look at your life and think about things that may or may not be as rare as they look, but they still are, right? Because for things to be negative or net loss, you have to believe that's already bad, because it can never only be bad. I don't literally mean that things can only be good. There's duality for a lot of things. Equal parts positive and negative. You have to believe that it was already going to be good to begin with, even if it was only good. So I made me contradict myself and assume myself right away with that. So am I really trustworthy when I say that these objects should be net positives, proving that materialism can still be a good thing, even if it's only a good thing? Well, here's the thing. When you have people who dismiss the idea of something needing to be anything but good or bad, sometimes they're a little bit too constrained to begin with. I've talked to people like this before, where they were too constrained on the idea of something needing to be discussed like this in the first place. They'll be like, no science, politics, religion, or sex in the dinner table. When I ask the question philosophically of, can anything only be good or bad? Or even if those things are necessary for absolutes. And that was their answer. And it's like, that was their lead for so far, the runner-up. And that gets me wondering, it wasn't a bad answer to it so far. It was a good staple for that, not just grits. But it made me wonder, is it possible for things like materialism and objectification to ever be good, if even only good? Because the contrary falsity doesn't have to always be a thing, contrarian or not. But for it to only be bad, for minimalism to only be good, you don't want minimalism to only be the case of good for anything that has to have a good intention with it. Just because there's good intention. Just because you have the best intentions or the best interests of heart. Oh my gosh, do not use that loosely, guys. Do not use that phrase loosely. Not even your best friend deserves to hear that from you. Even if you mean it. And if you think it can be used well, please try to, okay? Don't put it in the wrong hands. But for anything to be only good or only bad, there also has to be duality, so it's not literally true. When I say that oranges, Wavasaur, and grits are net positives, I'm not saying that materialism and objectification can only be good. I'm saying that there's a way to see that as a good thing. There's a bright side to every single situation. There's always a way to be grateful for what you have no matter where you are in life. That includes how to be positive with your life in general.